Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, October 22nd, and this is just going to be a brief video kind of discussing my expectations for those of you who are online, quarantining, or hybrid today, of which there are many of you. Okay, so the first thing that I'd like you to do today is if you haven't already, in the assignment, it's called Creating and Recording Your Own Scary Stories. There were 3 worksheets that were posted. This is what they look like. And what I'd like you to do is, in your writer's notebook, or if you don't have that on a separate sheet of paper, create 2 columns, one for time, one for place, and I want you to read just passage 1 and passage 2. You don't need to do 3 and 4. If you'd like to for practice, that's fine, but read passage 1 and 2. You'll tell me the time and the place that it takes place. This is very basic, but I just want to get setting in your mind, because when you create your scary stories and when you write your summaries for your book projects, I want you to acknowledge what the setting is, because setting plays a crucial role in stories. No writer just randomly, arbitrarily selects a setting. It's always specific. So I want you to kind of get in the mindset of like, why is a specific setting chosen? Okay, the second worksheet, same thing. You just complete 2 passages, 2 columns here, problem and solution. All right, so for each of these first 2 passages, write the problem, write how the problem was solved. Very basic, again, related to our story elements of exposition, rising action, conflict, climax, falling action, and resolution. I want you to identify what conflicts and resolutions are. And then finally, the elements of the story. You're going to read through this excerpt of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which you likely are familiar with this story in some capacity. And then there are 4 questions to answer. Again, please answer these in your writer's notebook. If you are going to be back to school sometime next week, that's the week of October 26th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and October 30th, you can just bring it to school and show me. If you are going to be online through that time, I'm going to ask you to take a picture of your writer's notebook of all the responses to these worksheets. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to map out the story elements. So here are the elements right here. These are at the bottom of the post. You should have taken notes on these yesterday from the story elements video, which is right here. If you didn't, please take these notes down first in your writer's notebook. All right, now once you've done that, I'm going to kind of show you something right here. So we're going to move just for a second. And this is called the story map, story element mountain. It's also seen in this video. It's actually the little triangle thing right there. But basically, what we've got here is we've got a plot mountain. As you can see, starts off with exposition, conflict, rising action, climax, falling action, and then resolution. What you're going to do is you're going to choose a story from the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. There are a bunch of them in there. Here are the names of all the stories in the chapters. Choose any story you'd like, and you're going to just map out the story elements. Now, your falling action resolution for this, because the stories are so short, might be the same. That's okay if your falling action resolution is the same. But certainly tell me just a quick 1 sentence for each of these. What's the exposition? What's the setting? What's the conflict? What's the rising action? What's the climax? What's the falling action / resolution? And then finally, today, what we're doing in class is we're going over this cliffhanger presentation. Now, I know it's quite long, but basically the whole purpose for going over this presentation is just so you know how to start to craft a story, to write a story. Now, pretty much every story is going to follow those story elements that are listed below right here. And it's important for you to understand that the reason that we're doing this is, number 1, you have to write your summaries for your Reading Zone book project, and that's due just in about 11 days. And you're going to need to incorporate and include these story elements. Number 2 is you're going to write your own scary story for this class. That's our last project of the quarter, and that scary story has to have these story elements. Otherwise, it's not really a story. All stories have these elements. Sometimes stories don't get to the falling action and resolution till like the last like a few pages of a really long book, and that's totally understandable. The climax might be like 10 pages before the end of a book, but when you write your story, you need to keep these story elements in mind. And again, the whole purpose of this cliffhanger presentation, it won't take you very long to go through, even though it is kind of a long one, is just to understand how to craft a story with a cliffhanger. Now, you do not need to write a scary story or spooky story with a cliffhanger. You are certainly welcome to, but you definitely don't have to. That's basically all we're going to get through today in class. If you'd like to move ahead past that, I encourage you to read through these directions on your own, and you can start to craft a story. All right, have a good rest of your day. Good luck, and again, send me an email, post a comment if you have questions. Also, all of you, please be on the lookout in your advisory Google Classrooms. There is a student reflection we're asking everyone to complete. All right, have a great day.